All right, man. I think just first of all, thank the fans for last Saturday. That was awesome. Great atmosphere, just like we anticipated, and appreciate everybody coming out and selling that out again. We'll certainly need that as we go throughout this season. We certainly fed off the energy there. Our players did, and right from the start of the game, and it didn't stop. It was awesome. We got to continue to have that as we go through this year for sure. We got some great teams coming into Nippert this year. Now, our guys came out really focused, I thought, really all week, and really started the game the same way. And, we took the ball right off the bat and go down the field. First fourth down we had, I think it was 4th and 5 at midfield, and ran a tempo and ended up connecting with Xavier with a great play, and that kind of just got us started and really didn't slow down. I think it was the first 6 possessions were touchdowns, and pretty much took the game in control at that point. And I was really pleased with the way Emory played. Congratulations to him for getting Big 12, Player of the Week, and which is hard to get, I think, when you got this many teams in the Big 12, and there was so many good games this weekend. That was awesome for him to get recognition for that. Then Lichty comes in and he runs one and throws one as well. I thought, so the quarterbacks played really well. And, I think defensively we did some good things there. DG had a great game. He was, kind of our player of the game on defense with the impact that he had, 7 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, sack, and a forced fumble. Overall I was very pleased with it. And, again, we got to put it back to back. This week, we're playing Pitt. Pitt's we know they're a really good football team. We played them last year when we were at Louisville, and I think they do a really good job. They're coached well, offensively, defensively, in the kicking game. They're solid in what they do in their approach. You flip on the film, and it's certainly Pitt. It's an NFL style offense with zone and play action. Defensively, they've been playing this defense for a long time, Coach Narduzzi, and they know what they're doing. They're really solid at it. They're very aggressive, and they play very hard. Hard-nosed football team, and that's what you're going to get when you're playing Pitt. And so we're looking forward to this opportunity to go play those guys. So we'll open up with questions.
How do you prepare a team for the physicality, the difference in physicality that you're going to see from game 1 to game 2?
Well, you got to talk about it. You got to know that the speed of the game is going to be faster. You got to anticipate, being more physical. But we practice physical. We get after it. We've, this August we tackled a lot. We tried to be intentional in the way our approach was, knowing that this is going to be, we want to be a physical team. Like, we want to play that way as well, and, all phases. So, something that we pride ourselves in, so we better be able to bring it, every play we're out there. Certainly we're playing a team that's obviously a lot better, than an EKU team, at Pitt, and Pitt's used to winning. Pitt won the ACC 2 years ago, and, Pitt's a very aggressive style. I think last year they were number 2 in sacks last year behind Louisville, and but they've been a top 3 or 4 in sacks every year, I feel like, and so that's just what they're going to do. And then offensively, they're going to try to play bully ball, be big, and push you off the line of scrimmage. And we certainly got to be aware of that and ready for that.
Plays the part of Phil Jerkovic this week, because that's a big dude.
Yeah, he is. We'll have Drogosh down there quite a bit this week. We had Drogosh down there last week as well. He kind of split time. He was on our end of the field and that end of the field. I would anticipate this week, maybe trying to give the defense a little bit more of that look. A bigger quarterback. Yeah, you're right. He's we listed him at 6'5", 235. We played him as well last year when he was at BC, and. He's deceptively a decent runner. You think somebody that big can't run, but he had a big run against us last year to basically, seal the game for them. And, and I think he is a little bit more athletic than what you think. But, he wants to, be play action and throw the ball in the pocket. And but we're going to certainly have to try to get him off the spot there and make him a little uncomfortable. Not really. I think we go back and watch the tape. I think it was kind of what we thought. We big explosive plays on offense. The receivers I thought played really well. I thought the quarterbacks played really well. We got to do a much better job at the tight end position. We did not do very good there. Blocking. We got to do a better job with that. We gave up a couple of pressures. We got to do a better job with that. We're certainly going to be, challenged this week with that, with a team that's really going to pressure you. So we got to be way better up front and at the tight end position as far as blocking goes. I think defensively we had, that was the one drive they had. We had a couple of guys get out of their gaps, and they hit 2 A-gap runs on us, and then they hit a touchdown on the touchdown pass. And I think it was a linebacker that was not where he needed to be in that. So, we got to be better with that. First half we didn't have any sacks last week. Second half we did much better in getting after the quarterback. So, when you go back and look at it, it's kind of what we saw. And I thought the teams played well. I thought toward the end of the game last week, maybe we were not as we didn't play quite as hard on special teams. I didn't think covering kickoffs, but we had to cover a lot. So I guess I got bored covering kickoffs. But we got to do a much better job of finishing and playing fast and hard in the teams. But it was kind of but other than that, really it's kind of what you saw. I think we watched the film was what we got.
In terms of game prep, how does that familiarity with Pitt and Pat Narduzzi help with what you want to do this week in practice?
I think it helps a lot. I think we faced them in 2020 there. We lost 23-20. And during COVID, they didn't have anybody in the stands. It was a little bit obviously different at that point in time. But, what they did defensively, man, they shut us down. I think we gave up 7 or 8 sacks that day. Couldn't really run the ball. We hit one run for 75 yards. Other than that, we looked awful offensively, and we're still in the game, but did not play well at all. But we learned a lot off that game compared to what we tried to do last year when we played them. I thought we played them a lot better last year, and it's still hard to move the ball. It's just hard to find points. So we certainly learned a lot though, and I think that'll help us as we prepare this week to know what we need to tell our players. And they really hadn't changed over the last 4 or 5 years, so it's very similar. So I think that having that familiarity with what they've done in the past will certainly help us this week.
How does a road game preparation change for you since it's your first road game at UC? Are you guys using artificial noise, anything like that?
Yeah, we certainly will have times in practice where we try to make it loud, chaotic. I think the biggest difference is travel. We got to go, get on the airplane and go up to Pitt. That's probably the biggest thing. But you're still, once you get to the hotel, it's the same routine, when we go to the game. So that really won't change. We're playing on a different surface, so that's going to be a little bit different. You try to get familiar with the surroundings once you get in there. But I think other than that, I think, the cadence will be the only thing that really could be hindered by that in the noise, as you talked about. So we'll try to do the best we can to prepare for that with, chaotic noise and turn the music up or crowd noise.
How do you prepare for their pass rush? You guys had 50 sacks last year. They've averaged that the last 4 seasons, and you've seen it.
Yeah. Well, you have to have a really good plan. You just can't sit back and drop back and think you're going to have all day to throw the football. That's not going to happen. They have gotten to the quarterback. You turn on any game they've played in the last 3 or 4 years, they're going to get to the quarterback. Now, you got to get rid of the ball. You can't hold it. If you hold it, you're going to get sacked. So you better have a plan of where you need to go with the football. And I'm talking even when they're just bringing 4. When they bring 4, they're going to get to the quarterback. But other times in the game when they're bringing 5 or 6 guys and they're creating that that area where you can't move, you got to get rid of the ball. And so we got to do a great job in practice of our quarterbacks. If the guy's not open, throw it away. Hit your check down right now. Don't hold the ball. So those are things we'll work on in practice. I can't remember last year how many times they sacked us. They hit us a lot last year. They hit our quarterbacks, but we got rid of the football right before they're getting hit, which I think was a positive, obviously. So I think, you just can't hold the ball. So we'll practice that. We'll put a clock on the quarterback, and, you got to get rid of the ball.
Coach, we talked a lot about Emery's running ability and kind of that dual threat. He was obviously really accurate on Saturday, especially deep ball. Is that something you saw as soon as he got in? Is it something you felt like he progressed over the course of especially fall camp?
Well, I just think he had a really good August. he missed some time, I think, at higher ground. He had to get a tooth taken out, and so he missed that time. He came back. He was a little rusty for a few days, but then I thought by last week, game prep, he was back dialed in. Looked really good. And then, from right from the start, I thought he was making some good throws. He was accurate. We felt good about, calling some plays for him, and he made it happen. And receivers Xavier made a couple of good contested catches that I thought were really nice. But he did. He also, the one thing that we hadn't seen that is his running, because you're not tackling Emory in camp, so it was like, all right, what's he going to do when he actually going to get tackled? And I thought he ran the ball hard, ran it good. We had a Q draw on that first drive for about 10 or 12, 11 yards, and then that was the fourth down, was right after the Q draw, and he had a very accurate throw. And then the scramble on the touchdown run, that was a great run. He broke a couple tackles, and so, he certainly got good running ability. He's a different style runner. Maybe, like what we had at Cunningham. Cunningham was a smaller, more shifty. He's bigger, but he certainly has some good speed. He's going to keep defenses honest with the way he can run. He's going to be able to get out of some trouble at times. But I thought his accuracy was really, really good. When you throw more touchdowns than you have incompletions, it's a pretty good day. So we got to find ways where he can get some completions in this game early, and try to keep that thing rolling.
You sense a little extra juice out of your guys, especially the guys that have been here for a while and haven't got the opportunity to play Power 5 opponents very often.
Yeah, I think that certainly gives some of those guys confidence to know some of these guys you mentioned, some older guys that maybe hadn't played as much. Their roles have changed now, so they're getting action. They're having to play. They're having to go make plays. And I thought, it was a good first game for them to get out there and get their feet wet and go out there and make plays and show, where they need to get better. Once we see the film and the tape, there were certainly several guys that can do a lot better, I think. The fortunate thing is we played well and won big, so now you can make your corrections off of that. But, it's a good point because there are several guys that, it was their first time starting, first time playing. We had one starter back on offense. There's a lot of new guys out there. Not just the transfers, but some other guys that was their first time playing a lot. Up front, DT, I think about him, John Williams, some of these guys that haven't played a lot, had to go out there and play, and it was good to get them, some good game reps and teach off of that.
Coach Narduzzi called your wide receiver room one of the biggest strengths of this team in yesterday's press conference. Obviously, with a defense that's returning so much talent, they're on the secondary for Pitt. What stands out to you about that secondary in that Pitt defense?
Pitt, I think probably the thing that stands out the most is their corners. They've played a lot of ball. I think we charted these guys. I think 3 guys have over 2,000 snaps. That's a lot of ball. And they asked their corners to play man all day. So you can turn on the film from 3 years ago, and number 14 is out there playing man. Matter of fact, he picked us off in 2020. That was a long time ago, and he's been playing this whole time. So they have some guys out there that in that secondary that are very confident players. They're going to get up in your face and they're going to harass you all day long. That's what they do. That's how they teach it. And I don't think they don't have any regard for pass interference. They don't care. They just play their ball. And they make it very difficult for receivers to try to get open, and that's how they play. Now there's a couple of the safeties maybe not as experienced as the corners, but they're really good at what they do. I think the way they're coached, they're very as solid as you can get defensively. Playing their quarters and their cover 3 look. They don't do a ton in the secondary. It's mainly quarters and cover 3, and they do a lot with their front. And those guys know what they're doing. And, but I think the experience they have at corner, man, that's a lot of snaps they have out there. And it's not just 2 guys, it's 3 or 4 guys that have played a lot.
You've been around this team now for several months, back to spring ball, summer. But it's different once you see them in a game, I'm sure, as a head coach for the first time. Did you learn anything about this group after seeing them in a game?
Well, I really appreciated, we talked about this a bunch, but I really appreciated the preparation they put in last week. They were focused. They were intentional about their approach to the game. I've been a part of some teams that, when you're playing a team maybe you're supposed to beat, that sometimes guys get a little, lackadaisical in their approach with their preparation. But they were dialed in, they were focused. And then they came out and proved that it worked, right? They came out right from the start and played really good football. as a coach, you don't know that's how they're going to be. So that's how, we learned that. These guys are really good at their approach. And so, now I think obviously this week we're going to learn a little bit more about our team because now we're playing a team like Pitt that's on the road. That's a team that's used to winning, that are going to be, a blue-collar, hard-nosed team. And so now we'll learn how we're going to go out and fight, and because we'll face adversity this week, it'll be a tough game. It'll be a hard-fought game. And then how we're going to be able to continue to fight throughout the whole game and for 60 minutes. I mean, I think that's the thing that we need to answer that question this week.
Did you expect the production out of Xavier, and then he's a veteran? How are they going to react to the style of defense that you mentioned their DBs play?
Yeah, I mean, we expected that out of Xavier. That's we've expected him to make plays for us, and we will expect that all year. He's a guy maybe in the scrimmages, hadn't done a whole lot in our scrimmages, maybe, a couple catches here or there. But, again, we're not game planning, trying to get him the ball and that kind of thing. But he went out and made plays. He made the contested catches, and he ran off with it. So we're going to need that all year. But we feel like we got several guys in that room that can go and make those plays, and they're very experienced players. Now new challenge this week, to your point. Corners are going to be up in their face on the outside all day long. You're going to have safeties that are down, making guys get open, making them work for it. They're not any freebies out there this week. So we're going to have to be able to get off the press, get off the contested coverage, and try to get free. And then because we got to get rid of the football early. You don't have time to run the long routes. There's going to have to be right now. You're going to have to get open, and we got to get the ball in the air.
Any other questions for Coach Joe? You have one?
First impressions are always a thing, no matter what your profession is. For you to have one done, have one under the belt, just how did that one feel emotionally, personally? You've done this before at other places, but to come here and do it for the first time, to kind of have that first one done, just what was it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it was a great atmosphere. I mean, I said this last week. I was so looking forward to this game more maybe than any other game I've started the season with. I mean, to get out here and play in front of Nippert, I'd heard so much about it. To get out and play, and then for our guys, I said I want them to look like they know what they're doing, and they did. They went out there and they played exactly like they're supposed to play and made plays, and it was very satisfying to see our guys play that way and then to feed off the crowd and you want to win. I mean, that's the bottom line. In this business, you want to win. If you don't win, you feel as bad as you possibly can feel. And when you win, man, it's so satisfying. And, and when you win, everything's better, right? The cheeseburger that I ate after the game was way better, and the French fries, and being able to watch all these other teams struggle to win and all that type stuff that night. I mean, it was awesome, But you know what? Now, and Sunday hit, and we were right back on the next week, So that's the way this business is. You forget about it and you got to move on. So now we have to do it again this week. We have to have great preparation. Everything in our approach has to be amplified a little bit more than it was last week, because we're playing a better team. And we got to go out there and bring it this week. So we're looking forward to a great week.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, we have reigning Big 12 player, the offensive player of the week, and newcomer of the week, Emory Jones. And then following him, we will have Dante, the Godfather Corleone. Yeah, maybe move that up. There we go.
There we go.
That look good?
There we good.
TVs, that look good? Mike? All right, questions for Emory?
You win the awards and all that. Just how is that? I mean, that's got to make you feel pretty good for your first game.
Yeah, I mean, our first game in the Big 12, to get that honor, of course, is amazing. But it all started with our team in general, just the way that they just push, really the defense, how they push the offense the whole off-season, whole spring, whole fall camp, and basically just started up front with the guys up front. They got it all done for us, and they let me be able to make some plays out there, so I'm excited.
Coach Satterfield just gave a lot of praise to the Pitt secondary due to how much experience they have. They have 3 to 4 guys who've played 2,000-plus snaps. What stands out to you as the quarterback of that secondary of Pittsburgh?
I mean, like you said, they play a lot of snaps. They play a lot of ball. They've seen a lot of different things, seen a lot of different quarterbacks. So they've seen guys like me. So they gonna be prepared. But they some very fast guys out there. A lot of them from Florida, actually. But there's some fast guys. They got some really good corners. I think they got 2 new safeties. So I think they just started playing. But they played a lot last year. But I mean, up front, they have a solid front 7. So we're gonna have to make sure we come prepared.
Dan and Keegan, then Marshall.
Xavier was certainly impressive in his debut with his size and his wingspan and his hands. Do you feel like if you get it close, he's going to catch it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the type of game it's going to be anyways. They put a lot of press outside, so it's going to be a lot of balls up in the air, a lot of 50-50 balls. So my guys going to have to go out there, make some plays. But he's definitely a guy that I'm going to take some shots too. He's going to have to make some plays for us.
You said you wanted to have more fun. You said you had fun on Saturday. Do you remember the last time you enjoyed playing football that much as you did against EKU?
Honestly, probably against Sanford in 2021. And it's crazy because I had my production meeting on Friday, and the commentator who called the game, he actually called that game. And he told me right before, he was like, I hope to see you have a similar performance. And it's actually crazy because it kind of worked out that way.
Sorry, right behind you, Steve Marshall.
I'm assuming you saw Xavier call you the lunch lady afterwards. What was that first conversation like with him when you saw that on social media?
That was funny, actually. I actually busted out laughing. But he actually did say that to me, though, on the sideline. And it's funny, though, but he's the type of guy with that personality. So, he keeps me laughing all day.
In the game, obviously a great performance. You guys get the big win, but playing against Eastern Kentucky, what aspects of the game do you think were kind of shielded because you weren't playing the same level of opponent you'll be playing this week?
I mean, like I said from the jump, I think that game just came down to execution, honestly. So I think we just did what we had to do. I think this week we're going to have to, I mean, of course, like execute, but we're going to have to put some things in to maybe try to, try to expose some things that they might have at weaknesses. And, just go from there. We just got to have a really good week of practice and make sure we're confident going into that game.
What are some of the challenges of playing on the road in a hostile environment this early in the season?
Just to focus and kind of creating that energy for yourself. You know, you're going to have a lot of fans against you, obviously. But for me, I like playing away a lot just because of that atmosphere. And I think just the focus is going into the games is making sure that we bring our own energy and we come in there confident.
Coach said that he's going to put a clock on you this week to kind of prepare for Pitt's pass rush. How much of a deviation is that from how you usually like to throw the football and play the quarterback position?
Well, I kind of had to deal with that all fall camp and all spring. So I think I'm pretty used to it. And, they got a really good defense, but really good pass rushers. But, that's going to be a sole focus for us this year. We're going to have to get the ball out quick. I'm I'm pretty sure they know that, and they probably gonna have their corners playing a lot more aggressive, knowing the ball gonna have to come out quicker. So that's something that we just have to prepare for.
You obviously played with Xavier at Florida. Did you feel any of that, I don't know, connection, crossover, even though it had been a year?
Mm-hmm.
And then also after that, if you could take us through that fourth down call early on the touchdown, was the plan to take a shot to him, or did you just see something on that play?
I mean, just throwing him in general. It's just a natural connection that we have. We worked a lot in the offseason as soon as he got here. And, like, from the jump, it was like we never lost a step. But, like, that play on fourth down, I actually was surprised that the coach said he called it. But that was really just something that I saw out there. The safety was kind of playing a little low to his side. I knew he had a little option route. So I told him, like, literally the night before, we didn't really get that look in practice against that play. And I told him, like, literally the night before, I was like, if we get that look, you might can just run by him. And he did exactly that on the first drive. And just talking that through the night before, and then that actually happening. It's great. That's what we want.
Was that at the hotel, or did you guys room together?
No, that was at the hotel. I just literally sent the text in the group chat to all the receivers. I was like, hey, we didn't get this look now. Just make sure that if we get this look, y'all, just make sure we're on the same page, honestly. So, it worked out well for us.
After you, what's your relationship with the O-line? Like, if they hit you a couple times, or you politely chew them out, or, how's the relationship with the guys? What do you say to them to keep yourself protected?
I done been hit a lot in the past. But, just keeping those guys confident. They never want to hear, bad things, coming from me unless, they know already. Obviously, if it ever gets out of hand to where I'm getting hit too much back there where I don't have any time. But, we have a very good relationship with the whole offensive line. And, they're just things we work through. A conversation we have on the sidelines is just talking through looks that we had the previous drive. Basically just going back and making our corrections on the sideline, honestly.
Does winning the Big 12 Player of the Week mean anything to you?
It means a lot to me. Like I said, that was our first game in the Big 12, and just to have that honor, just coming to this program, it's a great feeling, and I'm sure it's a great feeling just for the whole program in general. But like I said, it just started with the whole team in general, from the whole defense, just making us play up to a higher level from the spring and fall camp. I think that's a part of it.
Any other questions for Emery? Thank you.
Thank you.
Dante, you're up, buddy. David, might as well just go with him right now.
How y'all doing? Good.
You've obviously been here for a while. You haven't got to play a ton of Power 5 opponents. Do you have a little bit more juice going into a week that you're going to play a Power 5 opponent?
I don't really look into that. We respect Pitt. They got a veteran O-lineman, veteran quarterback. We got to prepare this week as best as we can, so Saturday can be very, very easy on us.
Coach Narduzzi gave you a lot of praise in yesterday's press conference. Says it starts with you and Juwan up front, and really gave a lot of emphasis on how you cause a lot of havoc getting to the backfield. Talk about what that means to you as a player to get that such praise from a coach like Pat Narduzzi.
Yeah, that means a lot. Especially I know they're probably gonna be game planning me. I hope they game plan for me so my guys can come free, like my linebackers or Juwan or anybody else that's behind me or next to me. So I take that challenge on.
DG and Deshaun both had a pretty good game on Saturday. How much pride do you take in that, seeing your guys play that well?
Yeah, I like when they get single blocks. I'm doing my job, so I like to see that.
Coach Satterfield talked about the lack of pressure on the quarterback, specifically sacks against Eastern Kentucky. This week you're playing a much better offensive line in Pitt. What has to change for you guys to be more successful at getting after the quarterback this week?
I feel like we got to execute, limit the mistakes, the MAs and stuff like that, so we can have a good game on Saturday.
You've seen of this quarterback, he's a little bigger than most.
Yeah, he's a little heavy, but he's still a good veteran quarterback to have. So we have respect his skills and what he brings to the table.
Talk about what it's like to play next to a guy like DG. Obviously, we talked to him Saturday after the game. He said he loves when you guys get the attention up front between you and Jawan because he loves the one-on-one action. Just talk about what it's like to play against a guy or play next to a guy like Daniel.
Yeah, he's somebody he always helped me with my pass rushing skills. So I look up to DG. He's a good veteran guy to have. I'm glad we picked him up.
Satterfield talked about it before the game last week, saying that some of the games you and Juwan will have won't be filling up the stat sheet. It'll more just be doing your job. Do you kind of go into a game with a sense of I want to fill up the stat sheet, or do you just want to be able to cause a little bit of havoc and make sure that you fill up those gaps?
Yeah, being a first-year starter, you would think I would want to pad my stats, but having somebody like Juwan last year, just like his leadership, what he taught me, like, it's not about the stat sheet, I might not make every play, but I'm still making a play at the same time, holding double teams on or anything like that. So I don't really look into stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure I can speak for the rest of my defense. We don't look into that type of stuff.
How does playing in a hostile environment this early in the season help with the overall progression and development of the defense?
Last year we didn't really have one. Like, I feel like we're more looking forward to it because we don't normally have those, but I feel like our defense is really looking forward to that challenge.
It seems like this season, especially on the defensive line, the players are playing at a much lighter playing weight. How do you enjoy, do you like that as a player? And two, how has that been for your mental health and some of the other guys on the line?
Yeah, shout out to Coach Nico, and his staff. They did a great job this all season, getting everybody trimmed down, as you can see, you feel me? But yeah, I feel like it's great for everybody. We all in probably the best shape we ever been in, run side to sideline. So I feel like it's been a great help, especially for us. Yeah.
You are undoubtedly the number one guy on the scouting report for other teams' offensive lines this year. How often do you think you were double teamed last week? Was it 75% of the time, 100% of the time? What was it like?
It felt like 95, but I know I was going. I knew coming into the season what was going to be as far as the double team. So I'm not really getting frustrated or I'm just knowing it's going to happen. So I got to live with it.